What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Arena of Valor video, and today we will be finally continuing the AIC, and we are starting straight away in game number 4 of semi-final match 2, which is Hong Kong Attitude versus Buriram United. And as you can see, HKA, this is a best of 7, so HKA is already on a nice edge, 0-3 behind. And we shall see if they will be able to come back in this game. And something very interesting to point out is that Nunu, the mid laner of Buriram, is playing a net in the mid lane. He is gonna go for a full AP build. I already checked out the post-match screen, so this is gonna be a super fun game, hopefully, to check out. And we have some very cool heroes like Hayate, the Chi, and the ZILL on HKA side, and they somehow managed to get Zip, wasn't banned this game. And on Buriram side we have, of course, the Florentino, the Fennec in the jungle, the Annette in the mid lane, as I said, a Marja in the side lane. Usually this pick doesn't do too well this AIC, however it is just something that comes out after all these side laners have been picked after 3 games already. And they also have an Ormar as a support, so should be pretty exciting here. We'll see how both teams will play. Now, right off the bat, we can see that Chi, as soon as she reaches that level 4, I don't think she can really win against Florentino in a 1v1, but she just provides a lot of pressure if a team fight happens around that bottom side of the map. Right next to the dragon, we will just see if she just provides a lot of team pressure because she can just knock everyone into a wall. But red team recognizes that, already goes for an early dragon pickup. They saw that ZILL was on the top side of the map, so they were able to just instantly sprints away, ults away, and they are not able to get that Florentino. They try to gank him there. First one is playing already really well, just abusing that Fennec power farm as he should. And now you can see they swapped lanes. They actually put Chi against Marja now, and they put the Hayate into the bot lane against the Florentino. He should be much more suitable to fight that Florentino in a 1v1, and the dragon is gone anyway, so you don't really need the Chi to provide pressure for teamfights bottom. So this is a very fast and decisive lane swap that they did there. I really like it. Very well played. But of course Chi doesn't really fight Marja too well either, so the Chi will be struggling. She will just rely on a very good team fight to get back into the game. So we'll see if Outcast will be able to get that. He is fighting that Marja. Ooh, he goes very deep. He might be able to get a kill. No. Very close though, but the ZILL is able to follow up. Beautifully played by both of them. He knew the ZILL was coming. He saw it on the minimap. He probably got even told that ZILL is coming, and he just instantly decided to go in, fight that Marja, and set up the kill, the first blood for ZILL. Very well played. Already 1000 gold advantage, even though Buriram got that dragon. So phenomenal farming, phenomenal gameplay so far by HKA. Now it seems like this will be a Sentinel going to Fennec. HKA not really set up to contest that. They are, however, focusing their vision onto dragon. They might be able to just get this dragon right now. They decide they are playing very cautiously. They don't expect Fennec to be top lane still, and he still was. So now they might decide to get this dragon. It's already too late. ZILL was doing his red buff. Very unfortunate there. Fennec already able to make his way into the mid lane. Fennec gets pinned against, the Marja gets pinned against the wall, but she is able to just ult away. Not much to be gained there. Both teams playing very defensive, I would say. Not a lot of risks. I feel like HK could have started that dragon. They had 2 chances to just start it and then just back out if the enemies come, but they didn't want to risk it. And Buriram could have tried to dive the Chi in the top lane, but they didn't want to risk that either. And she didn't have Flicker available because she used it against Marja for the first blood. She just keeps beating this Marja though. I feel like this shouldn't be turning out like that. I feel like the Marja should be able to ult the Chi ult and then just not take as much damage. But the Chi just keeps using her ult to fight this Marja, and Marja just keeps lifestealing back up though. So she is trying her best though to keep that lane even for herself. I mean, she is playing pretty well. She's 300 gold ahead actually of the Marja. And beautiful, just a straight 1v1 kill by the Florentino, hitting all his abilities. Of course, if you are a good Florentino, if you are able to use his combo properly, you are gonna get a lot of solo kills because the hero is just very suited for that dueling playstyle. And now the Hayate was dead, however, he is respawned right now. We're gonna go back to the bot lane to push, and now we have 4 people of red side around top. They are trying to push this tower. She realized that, instantly backed out. She didn't want to get dove. She doesn't have the Flicker available again. She used it again. And yeah, just backing out, letting that tower drop. Ooh, beautiful little catch there. I don't think this Marja will die though. Yep, they used the ZILL, they used the Zip ult, they used the Crixie ult and are not able to get this Marja. I feel like they should be focusing around the other side of the map because Florentino can't just turn invulnerable like Marja can. So I feel like that is the better side to fight. Very scared there, Hayate instantly dashes and ults away from that armor. I feel like a dash would have been enough. And now the Zip might be able to follow him with ult. Yep, beautifully played there. They are able to get this little Fennec, finally able to shut him down from power farming, from just taking all the towers, taking objectives. Now that gives them a lot of breathing room. This ZILL is doing really well, 5,000 gold. He is even with the power farming Fennec, and they just go straight away for the Slayer 8 minutes into the game. But they decide to stop it because the Marja, the Annette, everything is just too much pressure. However, as I said in the beginning, they have an Annette mid lane, but she literally hasn't touched an enemy so far. I feel like she really, that pick really not proving to be too useful so far. But we shall see if he will be able to make some big plays with it. Of course, no matter how you build Annette, she is not going to deal a lot of damage. Even if you go full AP, she's just going to be for utility, which is fine. She provides wave clear. She has great wave clear with a lot of AP. So she still fits that mid laner role, and she provides the utility. You don't really need a lot of damage if you have a Florentino and a Fennec from your mid laner. You have a Marja in the side lane as well. So it works on paper, but we'll see if it will be working in practice as well. It will just rely on him hitting a lot of stuns, which he hasn't done so far, but he didn't really have the chance so far yet, because there weren't a lot of team fights, to be fair, so we shall see. Now, red side is for sure winning this so far, 1,000 gold ahead, but a lot of pressure ahead. Right as I say this, Marja ends up dying without using her ult. I think she was stunned into silenced and wasn't able to use her ult, unfortunately for her. Otherwise, I'm sure just ult, sprint away, she would have easily gotten away from that ZILL. But yeah, this definitely gives blue side a lot of breathing room again. They are able to push much further into the enemy's jungle, get back control of these bushes, get back control of the vision. They are just gonna get mid lane priority here, pushing out that mid wave. But they are not gonna be able to get anything out of it. The top lane is getting pushed back by Fennec. They are not able to get this top lane tower. They're definitely eyeing that, because it is the most available tower right now for them. Crixie doing a good job, poking a little bit here, not doing a lot of damage yet though. Only 5k gold, very starved of gold this Crixie. If you compare it to all her other carries, both her carries, jungle and ADC have 7k, which is 2k more than her. Absolutely crazy. So she is not getting a lot of farm so far. Of course the Annette has the same, but Annette is just a utility support mage, I would say, if you play her mid, so it doesn't really matter how much farm she has. So in that department, again, red team definitely doing a better job. Because you can see this Crixie's damage is very, very low right now. It is incredibly low. We'll see what has to happen. They probably have to catch out the Florentino or the Fennec, and then at that point red team won't have enough damage for a team fight. Ooh, this was a beautiful little combo there by ZILL, able to jump in and just pop his passive on 2 people. It does so much damage, this auto attack. Able to get them with the ult, just beautifully played by him. Very, very nice. Definitely ZILL so far the MVP of this game. Crazy gameplay so far. Goes for the full AP build, but ends up dying here probably. Yep, doesn't have his ult available. Ended up chewing off a little bit too much of that cake, going way too deep there into the enemy base, and as a result of that, his whole team ends up bleeding. 4 deaths on their side for 0. They were in a very commanding lead, now completely turned it around by overdiving. This Fennec, I'm sure, is gonna get this Slayer. They're gonna show a replay. They tried to dive super deep, however the Fennec just ended up rolling away. Way too greedy, not a very intelligent play here in my opinion. The Chi seems like able to get a return kill onto Florentino, not even, just absolutely blown out inside the enemy base. Not sure what they were thinking honestly with that zip there, diving way too deep, but they lost the Slayer for that. That is a huge advantage for red side now, 6k gold ahead. I still think the ZILL has a very good setup for this game to do well. He's already really far ahead. He is able to catch out that Fennec before he can roll away oftentimes. He is able to just burst down Florentino, who isn't really too tanky. I mean, he has the medallion, but it is not gonna do enough, especially right now. Right as I was saying, as soon as ZILL completes his Staff of Nu, it's gonna be a void there, and he just completed it. So we are in the next team fight. Zip dies straight away. She dies as well. Again, red team is doing so well. It is definitely looking very grim for HKA here. 3-0, 0-3 for them in the series in a best of 7. It seems like it's gonna be a 4-0 here, blowout. Unless this ZILL is gonna be able to get a miracle. He gets one shot immediately and is not able to get any kills. Hayate picks up the supportive mid lane Annette, which really doesn't matter too much. It is looking very grim. This ZILL is dead. He is the main carry, but red team doesn't seem to be able to push any more towers quite yet, because the mid lane wave was too far away. The ZILL is gonna respawn in 10 seconds. It is a 4v4 only, so they decide to rather back out, not able to push. You can see the Florentino build is pretty aggressive, went for the Fenriers. He's just gonna deal a ton of damage, 3-0. Fennec is ramping up in crit, has his 3 crit items. He just sold his boots for Blade of Eternity. Insane, he's so far ahead right now. 14k gold, just absolutely maximum juice. Nothing that can kill this Fennec at this point, because I believe like in like maybe one more minute, if he farms this blue buff, farms one more wave, he will have enough to sell his Blade of Eternity into the Death Sickle. So at that point he will have his dash, he will probably have a second dash because he triggers his S1, and then if he dies, if he ends up dying to the ZIL, he can just sell his Blade of Eternity by Death Sickle, and then it's GG. Because ZIL cannot ult twice. Ooh, the Zip decides to go in deep anyway, with the ZIL jumping into the team fight, jumping out after he triggers his passive again. Very well played, but the Zip just decided to go way too deep. It seems like there's a huge miscommunication between Zip and ZIL there, because Zip sucked up the ZIL, they jumped really far, but ZIL decided to jump out because the Fennec had not only Blade of Eternity but also the Dragon respawn buff. So at this point it is for sure Buriram's game to lose here. They are so far ahead, it is absolutely impossible to lose this right now, because the Fennec has the a Bow of Slaughter. It is just crazy. He literally cannot die at all, as long as he has like 4 lives basically, right? He's not even a cat and he has 4 lives. So this Chi is just getting caught out here. He was trying to set up a trap somewhere. Ooh, that's a good ult though. That's a really good ult. Triggers the ult, the second ult there, gets a dash and is able to get away. Very well played there by Outcast. Very, very nice little play. ZIL is juiced up with the Arctic Orb, with the full build as well. I assume he will be able to sell his boots for Blade of Eternity soonish as well. Fennec still sitting on that. His, I assume his Dragon buff expired. Yep, it did. So he does not have that revive available anymore. 17 minutes into the game already. Everyone is hitting max builds. Annette almost ends up dying there. ZIL doing a lot of damage still, is able to somehow get away. Ooh, goes back in for another auto attack. They are playing, this ZIL is playing this really well. Like, he's going back in and out all the time without dying, always surviving 10 HP. This ZIL definitely very, very impressive performance. We'll see. Chi has to clear out the bottom side there. Huge minion wave for her. A top minion wave is huge as well on the red side. So blue side will have to clear that out. They know they're in a 3v2 right now. I mean a 5v3 right now, excuse me. 2 people dead on the enemy team. So they are trying to get something back desperately, because both objectives are still down for another 40 seconds. They want to get this mid lane tower. They are able to, luckily for them. And even Crixie is now catching up, is able to finish her last item very soon. It seems like she is going for either a Berif's or a Holy of Holies. I think it's gonna be a Holy of Holies. She just wants to juice as much damage as she can. Maybe even Arctic Orb. Arctic Orb seems like a good choice as well. Will probably be an Arctic Orb. Holy of Holies seems too greedy for me. It is too greedy of an item, doesn't give you any defensive stats, just gives you a ton of damage. I mean, it gives you HP, but that is not enough to survive, so I feel like Arctic Orb is a better choice, but maybe he's thinking, I just want to deal as much damage as I can. I'm gonna stay in a safe, I'm gonna stay out of dangers way anyway, so we'll see what he's thinking there. They are just able to straight up get the Enraged Abyssal Dragon. They have the revival buff on Hayate now. Hayate is max items. He is completely juiced up. He sold his, he's full AD actually. He sold both his Yoga's Edge and his, what's it called? His Frost Cape to just buy Blade of Eternity and Fenrir's. So now he literally does a billion damage every team fight, and they get the Slayer as well. I'm not sure why Red Team is playing so incredibly defensive right now. I guess they just messed up. They let the Hayate, they let the ZILL, they let the Crixie catch up in items, and now at this point into the game, the Chi pick is really paying off as well, because if she is able to get one of your carries and push them into a wall, it is pretty much a GG for that team fight. And they were already losing team fights when they were behind, so I guess they have the mental disadvantage now, because they are like, okay, the enemies caught up in items. We were already losing some team fights before the enemies caught up, so now they're probably very scared. So that's why they were giving up that dragon, giving up that Slayer. I still feel like they can still do well with that Fennec. He still does a ton of damage late game. He still has a ton of mobility. He still has all his active items and the Blade of Eternity available. He also can sell it into Death Sickle. He has plenty of gold, 20,000 gold there. He can probably sell from Death Sickle into Arctic Orb as well, if he is able to do that, if he has quick enough fingers. So yeah, he has a lot of tools right now, while the enemies still don't. The enemies still cannot sell all those things into Death Sickle and everything. They don't have quite as much gold available. So we'll see. Now the game is just at a stalemate. 22 minutes into the game, both teams are incredibly scared of each other. This is, for HKA of course, this is their last straw. If they lose this, it's gonna be a 4-0 against them and they are out of the tournament. However, for Buriram, it is also scary because they were winning really hard and they kind of ended up throwing some team fights because the ZILL ended up playing really well, so they're probably scared of him. ZILL completed his Blade of Eternity as well. I mean, his Holy of Holies, so he just does a ton of damage right now. And the Crixie actually ended up buying heal reduction, which probably should have come out way earlier, honestly, because Ormar has a lot of healing, Florentino has a lot of healing, and Annette has a heal passive, and of course the Marja has a ton of healing. So this probably should have come out way sooner, honestly. By that Crixie, I would have bought its second item. We'll see if they will be able to now keep in mind that this Hayate has a Fenrir's, so he will just do incredible amounts of damage with his ult. He does not have the flicker available, unfortunately, otherwise he could truly assassinate the backline. Just ulting, flickering onto the backline, and able to cover so much distance. Let's see if they are able to get Slayer. They are. The Crixie picks it up, and now the Marja gets ulted by ZILL. However, she just ults in return, and now ZILL doesn't have his ult available, so you can see Red side is instantly playing much more aggressive, trying to create a fight, but they end up backing out, and this seems like a free dragon for them. And honestly, Dragon is much stronger now, the Dragon buff, than a Slayer buff. So depending on who gets this, ZILL is able to steal it away. That is probably going to be the game right now. They have a double buff again. ZILL has his ult available again. And now at this point, it is just going to be, they're just probably going to, I'm going to skip a little bit here, because they're probably just gonna clear this top wave and wait for it to push. As I said, this is probably a GG, unless they play super defensive again and just end up botching the advantage. They have 2 buffs. There's no way they're not gonna be able to just play a little bit more aggressive. They can just dive with the zip. Now is a good point to dive. Back when they threw the game, it wasn't a good point to dive, but now they are for sure able to dive with this zip and should be able to just ooh, you can see this little Annette. We have to watch that again. She is able to just one-shot. That is crazy. Let's watch this again. Let's watch how this teamfight turns out. So the Annette gets attacked by the Hayate, her Blade of Eternity drops, and she stuns him onto the dragon right there, and just one-shots him. That is so funny. She is able to kill the Hayate, very beautifully played there, but I just don't think it will be enough. The blue team is just way too strong right now, just has way too many buffs, and they are able to clinch back onto a victory in this series, getting the 1-3. They needed 25 minutes for it, and they needed a ZILL Dragon Steel with Punish on it, but they were able to get it in the end. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a super long one. As I said, the past 3 games were just really defensive. Both of these teams are very defensive teams, so I'm not even sure if we will be showing more of these teams. If you want to see more, just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I might just move on to the grand finals straight away. So yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, boys. Bye bye.